Hey guys, welcome to Mara's Junk Drawer. I am Mara, and today we're going to be doing the October reading wrap up. So let me get my iPad, okay, and let's get into the reading wrap up. So y'all know in like my previous video, I think it was my like fall TBR, which fall is still here, so I still have time, but I have something else I'm going to be doing. So some of these books are still going to be able to be read. But baby, I did not stick to my fall or like October hopefuls at all. And as I blame that on The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates, because when I read that book, like I had a nice flow going on, but after I read that book, it just completely disrupted my whole reading intention. So I'm just getting the books pulled up here on my iPad, and these are in no particular order. I do hope these are all the books that I read, because if you're new to my channel, I do not track my books using like Goodreads or Storygraph, you know, something of that sort. I do have a digital reading journal, but baby, I barely use that. So like one of my goals for 2025 is to start utilizing either Goodreads or Storygraph. Okay, but like I said, in no particular order, we're going to start with 40 Acres by Dwayne Alexander Smith. And of course, I'll put the book on the screen so that you guys are able to see the book that I'm talking about. So this book was so good. I got this book recommendation from Danny Reeves and Kim. You may know Kim from Instagram, because I don't think Kim is on YouTube, but Danny and Kim are always reading together. So if you know Kim, you know Danny. If you know Danny, then you know Kim. But they ate this book up. I do believe they read the second book, or maybe not the second book, but another book by Dwayne Alexander Smith. But I ate this book up, so pretty much, but it like took me for a loop, because the beginning of the book starts off, you know, like the prologue of like, it sets you up. So like the beginning of the book like just set me up like, ooh, what's about to happen. But I think because I read so many books like in this genre, not really genre, but like the vibe of the book, like slave narrative, black history and stuff like that, it wasn't really like an awe moment for me. As well as I did read the synopsis, so I probably should not have read the synopsis, because I feel like the synopsis, one, I'm already a girl who does not even like to read synopsises, because I just feel like sometimes it just gives too much away. And I feel like that's what it did for me, because not really like the plot twist, but like the whole point of like this story, it wasn't like an awe moment for me. So pretty much the book is like reversed slavery in modern world. Like there's this secret society of black people who are enslaving white people. So, and the main character is an attorney, and so you're like following like his attorney journey. And you know, there's another attorney that he's like not really competing with in the opening of the book, but like he's going up against this other great black attorney. And you know, yeah, and then you just go into him, how he gets caught up with this secret society, and this 40 acres of white people being enslaved. I did thoroughly enjoy the book. Like I really did enjoy it, but I think I just didn't have that like wow factor. Like it didn't like wow me, because I read the synopsis, and again, I've read other things like this before, not like reverse slavery, but like I just read this type of, you know, the vibe a lot. So, but I do recommend reading it. Like I do feel like it was a really good thriller. Next we have The Bitter Truth by Shanora Williams. Now I read the other, okay, I always say this is a series, but it's not a series, but the books are interconnected. I don't feel like The Bitter Truth is interconnected the way the first three books were. It's The Perfect Ruin, The Other Mistress. No, okay. The Perfect Ruin, dang, what is the wife? Oh, okay. The Perfect Ruin, The Wife Before, and then The Other Mistress. Those, I ate those up in literally like back to back. I read those in 3 days, like, or maybe a week. I know it was less than a week. I ate all three of those books up. And I love the fact that like she dropped a nice little gem, or like a little bit from like the previous book to give you update on what happened. Like, chef's kiss, those three. But I feel like this one just wasn't doing it for me. Like, so we follow, and this book does deal with politics, and I'm not really sure if I really like reading about politics, but she did it in a way where it wasn't really annoying, but like the vibe of, if I would have known it was like politics before going into the book, I probably wouldn't have read it. But I had to read it because it's Shanora Williams, and I loved the other three thrillers that she did. But so pretty much this one is following a man who is running for governor again, I think, of North Carolina, but I feel like he's from New Orleans because it jumps back and forth between New Orleans and North Carolina. And so he's running for governor again, and he did something in his childhood that is coming to haunt him now that he's running. And then this lady is coming back, like terrorizing him. And yeah, it's just like secrets are unfolding, and of course Shanora is going to always come with the plot twist, and she did come with the plot twist. I thoroughly enjoyed the plot twist, but it just didn't excite me as much as the other three books. So I do recommend reading the other three books by her that I really enjoyed. But The Bitter Truth, it just wasn't hitting for me. And it is told in three different perspectives. So it's told in the perspective of the girl who was unalived, the governor, Dominic, and his wife Bryn. No, Bryn is the girl who was unalive, and then Dominic, and then his wife. I can't remember his wife's name right now, and I don't feel like diving deep into my brain to figure out what her name was. So yeah, it is told in three different perspectives. Next we have Ricky Smiley, A Sideshow, Living with Loss and Moving Forward with Faith. I don't even know why I picked this book up. I think I picked it up because my library had it available on the release day, and it's Ricky Smiley. I don't really follow any of his content besides like listening to him on the radio a few times. But so pretty much the book, I think I would recommend this book to people who have experienced like a very intimate loss in their life, as far as like a person, you know, that you deeply cared about, because he does follow grief, his journey of grief of losing his son. And then he does drop like a few, like it gives memoir vibes just a little bit, but not completely, because it's pretty much rooted around his grief journey. But he does drop like some memoir type vibes. I did not listen to this on audio. Y'all know I love, if you're new to my channel, I love, my favorite type of audiobook to listen to are memoirs. And I did not listen to this one. I just read this one. So yeah, I mean I enjoyed it, but I feel like I just, like, the grief part for me was just not really relatable. But I know, you know, maybe, you know, further down the line, God forbid, anytime soon, that I will be able to relate. But I did like, you know, the nice little drop of like memoir vibe that he had going on. But there were some things like his parenting style that I just really didn't agree with. Like certain things that he said that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But anyways, next we have The Fire from Her Tongue by Heather Amara Reese. And this is a memoir in poetry form. My girl Chanel reached out to me and gave me this book recommendation, and I absolutely loved it. I did speak about this in one of my previous videos. But so this is pretty much Heather's memoir in the form of poetry. So it is a bunch of poems, and you can get through this because it's like less than 100 pages. So it's giving like a poetic novella. But I would recommend, if you're someone into poetry, to go check it out. She does mention like what happened to her when she was younger by her grandfather, who used to take her in the basement on Christmas when she was younger, as well as, you know, her being a white woman with black children, her family having ancestors that were part of KKK, her journey of growth and becoming the God-fearing woman that she is today. She did a phenomenal job with this, and she does have, I think, I don't know if it's 2 more books releasing, but I think the next one she's releasing, I cannot remember the title, but she does have another one that's going to be dropping, so I will be reading that one. Next we have a Model Home by Rivers Solomon. This is another book that I had no intention on reading. The first time I seen this was our good girl Brandy over on IG had made a reel about this, and then one day when I just made a cute little library run, I seen it sitting on like the quick pick when you first walk in, so I'm like, let me just grab it and like do a little taste test, read a few pages. Those few pages turned into 100 pages. So Model Home follows 3 siblings who grew up in a like white, well, they're from New York, and then they moved to Texas, and they moved into this like white neighborhood, like rich white neighborhood, and they were raised by 2 parents, and their mother was kind of like abusive, low-key, and their father was just absent due to him, you know, providing for the home. And their house is what they think is haunted, and the main character, she moves away from the house to the UK. I think she moved to London, and she's summoned back to the childhood home because her parents end up, like, you know, the death of her parents. And so the 3 siblings are reunited, and they are trying to figure out what happened to their mother, and, you know, uncovering like the hauntedness of the house. And this book was just not like, it's considered horror. Of course, the things that are discussed in the book are considered like horror, but there's just a lot going on in this book. Like, it's a lot going on. So like, if you're somebody like into like horror, but you're more so like the creepy horror vibe, I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend it, but like, it's giving, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, this is my first book from River Solomon, and that the fact that they drop like black historical gems, like in that aspect, I know we go together real bad, so I can't wait to read some of their other books just to like indulge in their vibe. But outside of that, like the actual story, I just really didn't care for. I loved more of the black depth than I did the horror of the story, like the story. Like, I didn't really care for like the story, the plot, I guess. But the depth, like the gems that are dropped, and like some of the other like topics that are discussed around like yeah, you just have to read it. I don't want to give too much away, but like the depth that, or like the underlying issues that are mentioned in the book is something that I enjoy reading about. But like the actual plot, I didn't really care for. I'm just trying to make sure I'm still on good timing. I feel like you know how you have too much lip gloss on and then it starts to get like, yeah. Okay, next, the book that just ruined my whole, shook up my whole TBR, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Absolutely love this book. Love it. love it. I loved it. I would recommend it. It may be a hard read for someone, so he pretty much just, he's talking to his students, or I guess you could say us as readers as well, but like he is talking about his experience going to South Carolina because they are trying to ban his book in a specific area, and he's like connected with a teacher who is trying to fight to not get the book banned, so the book does not get banned. He goes to synagogue in Africa, and then as well as Palestine. So of course those are like very, so he goes to Africa for like, you know how as black people, you know, we're always told or have this like dreamed of finding like our motherland, or that's our origin, and you know, all that. So he, you know, kind of dives into like those feelings. And then of course Palestine is always hard to stomach if you have a heart. And I loved it. I loved the book. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Okay, last we have Immortal Dark. Immortal Darky Dark. I was trying to see if I still had any of those books that I read checked out, but oh wait. Yeah, I do. I do have Model Home still checked out. And then this is a book that I own, Immortal Dark by Tigis Gurmeh. And it follows the main character who is a twin, and she is trying to find her sister. So she's trying to figure out Kadan. She is trying to figure out if her sister has either been kidnapped or killed. And her sister has been like always obsessed with like vampires and stuff, and her sister's like, please take your medicine, like in the beginning of the book, almost like believing her but not believing her. And so they are raised by a woman that their aunt gave them to because their parents had passed away. And so Kadan is trying to, once her sister has been kidnapped, she's trying to find like the university, because there are certain things that were told to them as children, like about, you know, who they actually are. So Kadan is trying to figure out how to access this world, you know, that their parents and the aunt was from. But come to find out, so she's constantly writing letters to the aunt that is related to her parents. And then one day, like, you know, there's these people that come and drop off. She's just trying to catch the person to figure out, you know, who's putting the letters in and out of the box and, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, so come to find out, when Kadan is actually connected with the university where she's actually from, you can only get there by like a soul invitation. Like somebody has to pretty much summon you to be able to find them. And in this university, it's like Octis, which are considered humans, and Draenics, which are the vampires. They coexist in this world. And so she's on this journey of trying to figure out if her sister was killed or kidnapped. And when I was reading this, although I enjoyed it, I had to stop and ask myself, because there's like, my emotions were like up and down, because like one minute I enjoyed it, and then the next minute I was like, I don't know, do I want to keep reading it? But then I was like back hooked on to it again. And but then I had to ask myself, like, specifically, what do you look for when reading a vampire novel? Like, you know, there's only so much that you can really do when reading a vampire novel, but I will say I did enjoy it. I will say I did enjoy it, but it was just like, I just found myself asking myself, like, what do you look for when you are reading a vampire novel? But I did love the blackness because the main character is Ethiopian, so I did love all like the African black reference, as far as like everything was black. I love that. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. Like, I think I really enjoyed it because of the dark academia vibes, like I was saying in one of my previous videos. I think me and dark academia go together, but I have to read another one to see, because I did enjoy this one, Where Sleeping Girls Lie. I absolutely love this one, and this was dark academia as well. So I'm trying to decide if that's another thing that I like. But I wouldn't say that I really loved this one. I just liked it. I enjoyed it. But it wasn't like, it didn't like keep my attention, because once she makes it to the university, it was just like very, we were at a standstill. But yeah, so those are all the books that I read for the month of October. If you made it this far into the video, I do thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to your girl. Let's lock in. Leave me some love down in the comments. Let me know if you read any of these books and how you felt about them, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, a thumbs up, a thumbs up, a thumbs up, a thumbs up. Okay, I gotta go.